Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. I'm your girl, Miriam Simon, and today we are talking about love. Why love? Because I just celebrated my 4-year wedding anniversary with my wife, and I never would have thought that we would have gotten this far. And I will tell you a truth. I was scared, freaked out of my mind. I would not say yes to getting married. I was so afraid. I was committed. I was definitely 100% committed, but I had fears, had issues with trust. I had so many different things that I thought about. I wasn't even accepting myself and who I was. And you know what? How people say, you can't love somebody else if you don't love you. That is 100% true. Didn't I heard it? I didn't really understand it. But then once I really heard myself and really saw myself and really went through it myself, then I realized that, oh my goodness, you are doing that. It is true. And it's not that I didn't love my wife. I've known from day one that I have. She and I have been inseparable since the minute we met. And we are going on our 20th anniversary this year together. And so what happened to me was the fact that I was so scared of what people would think. And I am also a mom of three. And so I received a lot of judgment by the time I was 21 and had all three of them by that time. And so it was really hard for me to really step into what I wanted and what was important for me because I was thinking of other people first. And so we tend to do that to our own detriment, to our own unraveling of not being able to celebrate ourselves, to love ourselves, to give ourselves what we need because we are unfortunately trying to satisfy others for too many reasons and for so much. And some of them are good reasons, like being a mom and thinking about my kids and thinking about what's important to them and how people will treat them too, right? I was thinking about all these things. And so what happened to me really foundationally was the fact that people were not disrespectful or were not rude or were not that it wasn't to that extent, I would say. But the reality was that I had been judged by my mom and I have till this day not been fully accepted for who I am by my mom. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And that created me being a divided person, right? So we talk about division as one side, the other side, and our society has been that way and is that way in a sense because people either are blue or red, or people are genders or female or male. And then when you start to mix or blend or you're a little bit of this but a little bit of that, right? Then it's like, how do we work? How do we function? Because our world is really gray. It's really not a black and white world. And actually, it's not even gray. We talk about in the gray space, meaning that it's a blend of things and it can go one way one day and another way another way. And we can go through a whole spectrum of things. But the reality is that it's a very colorful life. We are very complex human beings. And foundationally, what I have noticed and what I have seen in others since I noticed it in me was the fact that we are living a divided life because we are not fully integrated into all of our identities, or we are becoming new identities that we aren't fully ready to receive and aren't fully ready to understand what is required from us to get to that point. And so in love, in my marriage, I have always wanted to be in a full on relationship. I have always wanted to raise my kids in a two-parent household. I saw how difficult it was to live in a separated, divided home. And so I've experienced that all my life, divided by my parents. My father was living with us, but wasn't living with us. Then he had another family. Then he was in jail. And so they were together, but separate. Then divided by religion. My mom found her religion, which she became very, very, very religious too. And my other side of the family was not. So I was torn in between one religion and another religion. And so I had to fight to go to one or be with the other. And it was just a divided thing, and these thoughts and all this and all that. In society, you think about it, during the pandemic, we were all divided. You had to be 8 feet apart from each other. We could not be together. We could not, right now, if you're sick, you still should stay home, right? Where now we have even policies that help us do that so that we're not getting each other sick. So we've learned to be divided. And we've learned, oh, you know what? In your professional space, you can only be this way, or this is what professional looks like. This is what executive presence is. And then you're on the streets and you're hanging out with your buddies and your friends, and this is how you hang out here. This is how you do this here. If you're home with your kids, this is how you act. This is what a mother should be. So every single role has a different spec of what you should and should not do. But the reality is that we are one person in these various roles. And yeah, there are different expectations for each of them, but that doesn't mean that who you are foundationally should shift and change or adjust to everybody else because of what's going on. We need to be okay with who we are, where we are, and feel happy that we can be who we are, right? So sometimes what I did and what we do is we omit facts so that we do not get judgment from our parents, from our coworkers, from our friends, from our family members. So what's happening here is that we're working extra hard to stop and hold back who we are, what we want to say, how we want to be. And so that takes a lot of work. And then we become fragmented because we're holding back so much. And so in love, I learned to be that way because I did not have the support of my immediate family and my mom. My dad isn't around, so I don't even know what he may think about it. I have no clue whatsoever, but I'm sure he has an opinion just like everybody else does. And so what I learned was, well, in certain spaces, it's not safe to be LGBTQ plus. And in certain spaces, you will be judged for being LGBTQ plus, right? And a lot of people may not understand it, and that's okay. I'm okay with people not understanding it. I'm okay with people being curious. And I've also heard, right? Other people's opinions are none of your business. And so that is key to how I have been able to move without putting myself in danger and without putting myself in a space where I hold back who I am. And so the minute that I was accepted for who I was and given permission to be who I was, happened with a executive sponsor. And of course, it happened with my wife 100%. My wife accepted me for who I was and who I am and who I continue to be and who I am growing into every single day. Imagine we've been together in our 20s, in our 30s, now in our 40s. We're looking forward to our 50s and so on and so forth. So it's very interesting how we become divided and we don't show who we 100% are. And now listen to me, I'm not going to be, all over her everywhere outside and this and that. Like, there's still certain things that I do not do, and there's still certain places that I need to be careful about, because the reality is that in some places it's still illegal, and other places it's still not accepted. But there's also boundaries that I can hold within myself so that I feel good about it and that I'm okay with where and how far I go and who I talk to. But at the same time, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to say, and thankfully now they have policies where you are protected for being LGBTQ plus. That didn't exist before. And also, when I met my wife, it wasn't legal to get married. So that was not something that we could do. And being a divided person, I really felt torn and broken in a sense. And I did feel like I hesitated a lot in many different aspects, right? So I wasn't 100% fun. I wasn't 100% loving. I wasn't 100% caring. But now, after I was given that opportunity to be myself and 100% fully accepted and know what that felt like from people like my wife, from one coworker at work, and now a whole bunch of people that I know that have fully accepted me because I have been showing up as who I really am, that has really been the difference in also my impact and how I come across to other people and how I can help other people and how other people connect to me. And so, what I would love for people to begin to think about is, what is it that they are holding back? When people start talking about family or people start talking about this, I'll just say, oh, yeah, my wife and I, this is what we've done, or this is where we've been. So people can get the gist of my family dynamic. It's very different and it shows a different perspective, but nonetheless, it's ours. And I have also created an unstoppable assessment so that you can see, hey, maybe I'm holding back in this area. Maybe it's because of this that I'm holding back. And what I have learned is that me holding back was holding me back professionally, personally, and in every aspect of my life. But being fully integrated into all the different identities that I hold and all the different roles that I hold and being 100% myself really just made me unbothered in so many different rooms. It made me unstoppable at work because I was not scared of what people would think. I know there might be a reaction, and that's not for me to own. That's for the other person to own. And so there's so many different things that I've gained from this. I've gained the ability to love myself, which was very hard for me. I always thought something was wrong with me. And I was leading from that place. I was leading from a place of thinking I was not 100% perfect. And the reality is, nobody is perfect. And when you recognize that, hey, you're human just like everybody else, you love differently and it's still love. And when you love yourself, there's just nothing that can beat that. And when you have the autonomy to be who you are in all the different rooms that you walk in, the confidence that you have from it, it's immeasurable. And people are automatically magnetized to you, and people are automatically drawn to who you are and your heart and your soul. And you give so differently because you're open, the walls are down. And so, my invitation to you is to love yourself a little bit more each day and to think about what is it that maybe is holding you back a bit, and maybe it has create a judgment in your own self. And I did that for so many years, and I lost out on so much fun and so much presence and so much love and so many hugs and kisses from people that care about me because I was divided. And now I am just fully accepting, and the word of my year coming up is embrace. I will embrace more of who I am, more of other people, and be accepting of me and other people and who I am becoming, because we're always changing and we're always growing. And if we're not, we are dying. So that is today's episode. I am so happy and excited for the road ahead. We have so much to look forward to, and there is so much to be grateful for. I am also holding a workshop on January 21st. I will leave the link in the notes so that you can join me and understand or listen a little more about this. If this piqued your curiosity, come and let's talk about it, because I would love to work with you and love to get you to this unstoppable place. Once you get to this side, it is just lovely. Yes, the world could be crumbling outside of us, but within our own self, we have the ability not to be crumbling within. And what you don't see is what sometimes is holding us back, or really sharing and embracing and loving and giving and creating the impact and the magnetism that you want. So this is Latina Mic Drop. I will see you on the flip side. If you love this episode, share this episode with a friend, invite them to the workshop. Take care.